Aloha, this is ITS128, and today is November 17th, and let me share my screen. And, oops, I don't want to show that. I want to show this. Okay, so we are in this week, but we're going to finish up the rest of the labs in Chapter 7. So so I'm just going to end. So it's a real short chapter. So I'm going to just quickly zip through these 4 sections again, just to remind you of all the cool stuff that you can do with strings. Okay, and so even if you know another language and have done string manipulation functions and comparing strings and so on, there's a lot of really neat stuff in Python that you would kind of be surprised about, I think, if you came from one of the other languages. All right, so first of all, with strings, you can slice strings very easily in Python, and every string is referenced by a variable name. But if you use this square bracket notation, you can access the characters. So this treats the string like a character array. And so if you want to slice out a piece of a string, like this here, we'll slice out, the characters from character number 7 to character number 22. It's always one less at the top. And that's what this variable now equals. It's a string with only these characters. Okay, so that can be very handy. And you can also, there's defaults for the beginning and the end. For example, here, this means go all the way to the end. If you want to go all the way to the end, you don't have to put anything there. If you want to start from the very beginning, you don't have to put anything there. Minus is counting from the right end. So -1 is actually one character in from the right end. So this expression here means starting at the beginning and going all the way, but skipping the last character. Okay, and so here this is starting at character 10 and skipping the last 5 characters. Okay, so there's that. Now there's this other thing called the stride. Okay, and it's kind of like a for loop. Okay, where you have a range, right, a beginning and an end, and then you can have a third integer, third integer, which is the step. Like if it's a 2, you do every other one, and so on. And so that's called in Python, that's called the stride. And so if you're doing something, so this is default. The default stride is 1. So this means go from character 0 up to character 4 with the stride of 1, which means it's just take every one. Here, this means start at the very beginning, go to the very end, and do a stride of 2, which means skip every other one. So see, that's just you can just see the answer here. See, it's A, so it's the A and then the T and then the second T and then the A and the C and the K and then the Mars. So it's attack Mars, you see. So it's a way of maybe encrypting words or codes or something. Anyway, so here's so you can do that, and then we did this. So the stride is important. You can do did I talk about? Yeah, there you can do a negative stride, turns out, and that's important for the for the assignment or for one of the labs today. So if we look at this, if you search the web and find ways of slicing strings, this goes through an example where you have a string Sammy Shark with an exclamation point. And, you know, it does some slicing and says how to slice stuff. This is the, when you count from the right, it's like this. So you can do like that. Slicing and starting at 7, starting from the beginning. But here, negative, and but here it shows example of stride where the stride is negative. So here we're starting all the way from the starting at the beginning and going to the end. But our stride through is from the right to the left. So it's a way of reversing a string. So this is Sammy Shark reversed. Anyway, you know, it's what you'd think if you think about it. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. What's next? Formatting. We pop up the chat here in case anybody wants to chat. You recall this where you can sort of have a minimum number of spaces that the word or the variable or the value takes up, and then it either right justifies or left justifies or centers it, and that's how you can kind of make tables when you have monospaced. When you're using a monospaced font like Courier. Anyway, this is how you right and left justify it. And you can have the default padding character as a space, but you can make it something else like a 0. Very interesting. There's a bunch of methods, and these are, we use these in the labs. This is a replace method where it, you know, you stick this on at the end like this, and you basically replace all the occurrences of the first string with the second string. If you want to limit the number of times it does it, you can put a third argument there, which is a count number. And this finds, so this would return true or false. No, this returns a position, the index, the index of the first occurrence. So that's handy. This starts from the right and goes to the left, and this counts how many occurrences. So this would count how many of strings occur in my string, which my str, which is what is it? Boo-hoo. So there's 2 instances of, or 2 occurrences of the string OO, and so that's why this returns a 2. Anyway, all right. Comparing strings, the equality works, and it's alphabetical from left to right. So you know, Y is greater than A, and you know, all the same. Z, S is less than Z, so it's not true that this is greater than that. It doesn't matter what's after that, and so on. And you have to remember that lowercase is bigger than uppercase. You know, lowercase is not the same, and also lowercase is higher than uppercase. All right. These are methods that return true or false. This is if all the characters are alphanumeric, if all the characters are digits, if all the characters are lowercase, those that have an uppercase and a lowercase. They're all upper. If it's all the characters are white space, if it starts with this particular string or it ends with this particular string. And this is how you can make them all lowercase or make them all uppercase, or strip this white space on the left and the right, or capitalize the first character. And this capitalizes all the first letters of all the words. This just capitalizes the first character capitalized. All right, and you can splits using a separator character. So it turns a string into a list of words, basically. It turns a string into a list of words. That's using the default split character, which is a space. And for the default split character, you don't need to put anything in there because it just uses the default. So the way you use the method is you attach it onto a something that evaluates to a string, and that certainly evaluates to a string, and it splits on the space character, so it's going to return in a list of these words, because it's these four names in there. The split character does not have to be a space. It can be a hashtag. It can be a tab, like for tab delimited spreadsheets. Tab delimited lists are real nice because you don't ever have a tab inside of the field of a spreadsheet. So it's better than commas because there are comma delimited, or it can't be space delimited because spreadsheet cells, lots of times have spaces in them. Lots of times they have commas in them, but they never have tabs in them. So anyway, tab is another split character that's common when you're dealing with spreadsheets or converting back and forth and so on. All right, so we did 7.5, and we did this one, and we did this one. That's in the last video. So you remember those, and so let's start with 7.7, count characters. All right, so so what we're supposed to do is we're going to input a character and then a phrase. All right, here's one. So it's the first character, and then we look in the phrase to count how many of these first characters are in that phrase. So here it's n, and then we look at that. How many lowercase n's are there? Well, there's one. That's what that is. How many lowercase z's are there? 0. How many lowercase n's are there? Well, there's 2 right here. And remember that lowercase and the uppercase are different. Okay, so we're just going to read in an input, and the first character is let's see. In whatever in input string equals input. I'm going to do it over here. Input string equals input, and I'm going to say enter a character followed by a space followed by a phrase. because that's really what you're asking them to do. And the first character is going to be, the first character is the character that we're testing, that we're going to test. So let's call it CH, test car, called that, equals input string, and we're just going to assume it's one character. That's, you know, not more than one character. And so I just need to do this. Dun, dun, dun. It's the 0th character of that string, and the phrase, I'm going to do this, equals input string 012 colon. Okay. So I don't want the 0th character, and I don't want the character number 1, because that's just a space, right? And then after that is the phrase. Okay, so that's what my phrase is. So now I just got to count num instances equals phrase dot count dot test car. How's that? Print num instances. Let's see, save that. CLS. Okay, test, no, py.test, space test.py. Enter that. Okay, so I'm going to say n space, now is the time. Nancy, how's that? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Let's do one of them of the. It's a sunny day. N. It's a sunny day. All right. Well, anyway, now, you know, there's other ways we could have done this. Like you know, we wouldn't really need this. If we just had this be, just do it straight out on that, and still pull off the first character, and then see how many of those first characters are in the whole dang thing, but then just subtract 1 from it, because we're going to subtract off the first one, right? And then we wouldn't need to, let's see if this works. It's a sunny day. Oops. And it's a sunny day. Yeah, right. Anyway, and it would be, and so I'm sure this would work too. Anyway, if you were to put it in here, starting with that. So anyway, it's interesting, very interesting. There's different ways to solve these problems, and that's what I'm going to try to show you with these labs, since we have time today. All right. This one is, okay, it's kind of this dumb thing where mad lib loops. Okay, so it's activities where you have a person provide various words which are used to complete a story. So in this, and we're supposed to with this information write the program. Okay, so the program is, it takes you know, eating space that apples, and then a day keeps the doctor away. And this is a day keeps the doctor away. And this is eating and eating. And the only thing that's different is the 5 in the apples and the 2 in the shoes. Okay? And it's a loop. It's a loop until somebody types in, instead of apples or shoes or whatever, they type in quit. They have to type in the 0 too. All right, so I'm gonna start writing this program, and I'm gonna start. You start with what do you ask for? Oh, you just gotta ask. Okay. Input. What is the default template? Did I? Okay, there's no input. Okay. So I'm gonna say in string equals input I'm just gonna input what would this be called? Something plural and an integer separated by a space. I'm just trying to be exact here. All right, so this is my input, and kind of a long thing there. And so so I get apples and so let me split this. Can I do? Well, I can't remember if I can do that or not. Oh, anyways, so I'm going to do this. Items equals in string split, and it's going to be split on the space. And so so there's items 1 and items 2, items 0 and items 1, and I can say print eating items 2. Okay, so this is a list now. No, items 1. It's items 1 and items 0. Items 1 is this, and item 0 is this, because I split it into, put it into a list called items. And then items 1, item 0, eating 5 apples a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, so this is simply apples space 5. Eating 5 apples a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, fine. But we want it to be a loop, a loop-de-loop. So we can do something like are we going to assume they type in at least one? No, it doesn't matter. All right, I think it's something like this. While items 0 is not equal to quit. While that's the case, do this. And but we need to do this again. We need to do that again. Sorry, it's just the way it is. You know, there was in some language, there was a loop, exitif, end loop, and something like that would alleviate the need to have to do this twice. But that was lost in some language. Pascal, I think maybe it was, or maybe it was Ada. I think it was Pascal had that. I think. Anyway, but we have to ask the question again, so we do. And this time I'm just going to say again, just to make it easier. Okay, so this thing is just going to loop until it quits. Do we say anything when we quit? I guess not. Okay. So run this, enter something plural, and then, okay, so I'm going to do shoes, 2. Okay, eating 2 shoes a day keeps the doctor away. Again, oh, apples, 5. Eating 5 apples a day, that certainly would. Okay, how about quit, and I don't put anything after it? Oh, no, it works. Okay. All right, so you should have enough to be able to answer that one. Okay. Could probably, well, all right. So what's next? Palindrome. All right, I like palindromes. Palindrome is something where it's when you read it from right to left, no, from left to right, it's the same as from right to left. Or another way you can think about it is it has some characters, and then it comes to the middle, and then it starts. Then the remaining characters is just the reverse of the beginning half of the characters. If you look at, I searched palindrome example phrases. And I think I might have clicked on this one. Okay. Okay, so this is a palindrome. If we assume that a lowercase a is the same as an uppercase A, I guess we're going to ignore the quotes. We're going to ignore the punctuation. But anyway, you see that BORRO, and then W's in the middle, and then ORROB. See, so that's a palindrome. Taco cat. Oh, that's TAC. TACOCAT. A list of, okay, so this is probably, this is a nice palindrome here, and it starts with DANNIS, and that's DENNIS, and so on. That's interesting. Wow. Anyway, so we're going to write a program that recognizes palindromes. And so there's several ways that we can do this. I'm going to do it a couple ways here. I'm going to start by just okay, first I have to read in something. Read in a string. Test string equals input, enter a string. Okay, and then I'm going to go, okay, let me pop up the board here. Okay, good. So let's say we have let's say we have this a nut. Let's do it. Okay, a nut for a. Is there a shorter one? Amore Roma. Okay, so we have Amore Roma. And I'm going to skip the punctuation. Okay, so one approach is to take this whole string, and write it backwards. So, let's just, instead of going from right to left, we go from left to right, and we go A, M, O, R. See, I'm reading from over here, and then space, E, R, O, M, A. And this one refers to this one, and this one's this, and so on. And then, so once we reverse the string, then we just compare, and we see that the reverse of the string is exactly the same as the string itself. Then we know it's a palindrome. Okay, that's one way of testing a palindrome. Another way of testing a palindrome is where you test the first one with the last one, and then you go left one notch, go right one notch, then test this one with this one, and then you test this one with this one, and then this one with this one, and then this is not going to be there because we get rid of the spaces. And then if you subtract one from this and you add one from this, add one to this, and you're on the same character, then you know you're done. Okay, so if it passed all these tests and the two indexes meet, then you know that and the characters have been equal, then you know that you have a palindrome. If any test they're not equal, then you already know you don't have a palindrome, and then you're done. So those are a couple ways of doing it. So let's start with this way, and I can go my start index. I'm going to do so I'm just going to use this as this is going to be I, and this is going to be J. And J is going to go this way, and I is going to go this way. So I can go I equals 0. It's the 0th one. And J, the 0th index, and J equals test. It's going to be the length of test string minus 1, because it's, remember, if the length is 5, then the one you're going to start with is 4. It's going to be the length of the string minus 1. So this is what J is. J is going to start out at the length of the test string minus 1, and I is going to start out at 0. And then I can just do while I is less than J, if test string I is not equal to test string J, if it's not equal, then we know it's not a palindrome. We found a mismatch, and so we can say, oh, I gotta have something like is a palindrome equals, I'm going to start out with it's true, and I'm going to keep on looping until I know it's not true. Is a palindrome equals false, and I can exit the loop because I know the answer already. And if I get all the way down here, if I get all done with the while, oh geez, I got to increment I plus 1, and J is less. I subtract 1 from J. Subtract 1 from j, and I add 1 to I. And then if I get all the way to the end, down here, if is a palindrome, then print it's a palindrome. Palindrome. Otherwise, print it's not. So and I can test string. So print. All right, so let's see what this does. Enter a string, a nut for a can of tuna. Oh, I got to get rid of the spaces. I just realized that. So let's try it again. A nut for a jar of tuna. It's not going to work because it's not a palindrome because I didn't get rid of the spaces. So I got to get rid of the spaces. I'm going to use the replace function. So right here, I'm going to do test string equals test string dot replace space with a nothing. Oh, well, now it's going to be messed up down here. Test string 2 is that, and this is test string 2, and now I can test it, and I'm going to print out test string 2. How's that? All right. Let's run this again. Okay. A nut for a jar of tuna. Ah, it's a palindrome. A nut for a can of tuna. No, I know it's not going to work. Anyway, we can go further and say, what are the upper and lowercase functions again? See, okay, so I did a search on string methods. I think I looked at this one. How do I make everything lowercase? Lower. All right. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do dot lower. Yeah, how's that? Yeah. Now I should be able to do A. What was this one? Capital A nut for a jar of tuna is a palindrome. Okay. Anyway, now another way of doing this is simply you read in a test string, and yeah, you might as well do all this. And then instead of doing any of this stuff, you have, get rid of this, leave that there. And I'm going to say, test string 3 equals test string. This is the one that's all, taken the spaces out and made all lowercase. Test string, no, I'm going to call it test string reverse. Is test string, and it's going to, and I want it to go from from beginning to end with a stride of backwards, with a backwards stride. Okay. So I'm going to say I don't need this anymore. I'm just going to say if test string equals test string reverse, then I'm going to do, I want to print them up because I want to see it. Test string, comma, equals test string reverse. Yeah, I want to see it. Not equal. Okay, let's see what this looks like. What time is it? Oh, we got plenty of time. All right, one more time. A nut for a jar of tuna. It's a palindrome because a nut for a jar of tuna. Oh. What? How did test string get reversed? Oh, never mind. Never mind. Well, never mind. Of course, I'm looking at the palindrome and I'm saying, how did it become like that? Anyway, let's see. Yes. Yes. Okay. So Mr. Liu gave us a nice algorithm here. His approach was he actually created the strings. Let's see. You built the string. Oh, did you build a reverse of the string? Okay. Anyway, so I'm just gonna see. I won't show this to you, but another way, which I think is his approach, is you can actually don't do this, just build it, and you can build it by looping through this one at a time, and or starting from the back and creating another string manually, just reversing the characters, and then you can do the test, and you end up doing the same thing as this. The reason the reason we don't write a loop in this one, whereas we did in the other one, and if you do things manually, is because really to implement this assignment statement, there's got to be a loop, but it's handled down below. It's handled down below in the compiler, and to us we see that as a simple statement that takes one unit of time, but actually this statement depends on the length of the string. The time that this statement takes to execute depends on the length of the string. Okay. And so so that so the looping is actually hidden, and that's one of the things that makes Python more powerful than other languages. All right, so that's palindromes. Okay, acronyms. In this one, we are supposed to write a program that reads in a string of words, and just plops off, grabs off the first letter of the word if it's capitalized, and that's like creating an acronym. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Let's just so we're going to read in a string. Read in a string, and we're going to loop through it for index of the string in range of the length of the string. Oh, we're going to build a word called acronym. Starts out equaling blank. And for each letter, if test string dot is upper. No. I is upper. Is upper. Is supper. I supper. Probably this. Then acronym. Attach that onto acronym. Yeah. And then print acronym. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Yeah, this is a real easy one. Okay, anyway, you can test that out and see if it works. I'm pretty positive it works. Let's go to the next one here. Okay, in this one, we're supposed to first you ask for a character, and then you ask for a sentence, and you're supposed to say, for every word in the sentence that has this character, you're supposed to print that word out on a line by itself. So here we have the character Z, the letter Z, and then we read in the sentence, and we look at the first word. No, it doesn't have a Z in it. Look at the second word. Oh, it's got a Z in it, so print that out. Look at the third word. No, it doesn't have a Z in it, so don't print it. Look at the fourth word. It does have a Z in it, so print it. Okay, that's all this is. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, so I'm going to say letter, what letter to look for. Enter a letter. And then the next one is sentence. Can I spell sentence or E-N-C-E? Sentence equals enter a sentence. Okay. And then I want to split that sentence up into words. So words equals sentence split. And since I'm just going to split on a space, I'll just, I don't need to put anything inside the parentheses there. And then I'm going to do for word in words. Can I do that? I think I can do that, yeah. If word, oh no, if letter in word, then print word, then print word. I wonder if that'll work. Python for loop list. Yes, just exactly like that. All right, very good. Okay, so so this should work. Let's see if it works. Save it. Enter a letter. Z. Enter a sentence. Hello, zoo, sleep, drizzle. Let's see. Enter a letter. Anyway, I believe it works. Okay. Anyway, that was a pretty easy one. Oh, and we're done. Well, all right. Some of you sent me some questions, and I didn't realize I was going to be done so soon. I haven't looked closely at them yet to be able to just do them right here, but it's okay if we get out a little early. Are there any, does anybody have any questions? All right, well, I think I'll end it then. And so I will see you next, I'll see you on Thursday. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.